building up more and more like money because she doesn't really need to work because she has the insurance money, but like the little extra she's putting back, she's making investments and stuff like that, setting up just in case something does happen to her that Izuku won't be a burden, and then she can at least cover the financial costs of him being raised and everything, so that burden doesn't fall on Mitsuki. Like, yeah, she's so a few years pass. We'll say that they're 7 years old. Like Katsuki and Izuku are 7 years old, and at this point, Inko has explained to Izuku about his father and everything, and he was upset for a few months and everything, and like finding out that your dad died does really affect you. But he seems to be taking it very well. Unbeknownst to Inko and everyone else, Deku's actually been developing at a faster rate than everyone else. He's slightly smarter than what he was in canon. Like, because him and Katsuki in canon aren't dumb kids. Like, they were shown to be like pretty intelligent for their age. So Izuku's not like super intelligent, but let's say he's 7, so he would have like the intelligence of someone that's like five years older than him. So he's able to grasp concepts and stuff faster than normal. So with the investments and stuff Inko's made, like she's been able to save quite a bit up over the past couple years, like through the investments and through royalties and stuff like that. She's also invested some money into Yagirozu Company, because they did take pretty good care of her, and she realized that they have a really good stock. They have really good stock and trade and everything, so it's a pretty good investment. She also she also started up to actually, she ended up buying some land to one day actually build a hero agency building and to provide like a training ground, because eventually she would she has already gotten Izuku into simple karate classes because his quirk doesn't seem like it's a pretty strong one, and she wants him to be able to at least like have some kind of self-defense. Combined with his enhanced abilities, he should be able to like pretty good take care of himself. So, and Katsuki also asked his mom to like take lessons with Izuku because like at this point, um, they become really good friends and like really like kind of like they have like a sibling rivalry, like they want to outdo one another. So that being said, through the investments and everything, she had purchased like some beachfront property and everything. And so now we Izuku is Inko like comes and picks Izuku up from class and Katsuki up from class because Mitsuki had gone out to like get some groceries because they were have a family dinner with each other with with like Inko and Izuku were gonna come over for dinner that night because Inko's hero work. Sometimes she doesn't have the time to like actually cook dinner, so they've been eating at the Bakugo's like a couple of times during the week when Inko can't like make food for Izuku just because of work and everything. So this really enforces the relationship between Deku and Katsuki. So after a while, after so this is where tragedy strikes our poor Izuku again. On the way home, a villain group attacks, and they basically have a bomb and everything, and they Inko like these villains start shooting up and everything and making demands and stuff. And at this point, Inko kisses Izuku on the forehead, grabs a police officer that's standing in there, points to Izuku and Katsuki, and tells him to get them to safety and to take them to this address, and gives them the address to Mitsuki's house. Well, at this point, news cameras and stuff are there, and they show Inko stepping up and everything, and she's blocking bullets and everything. She ends up knocking out the villains with guns, and in the last instance, the villains set the bomb, set the bomb off. And all of a sudden, Inko is just is standing there holding this pressure in, and she's straining, sweating, and everything. And she's basically preventing all of this energy from being released. So all the other heroes, she tells the heroes, evacuate now, get away, I can barely hold this, make sure you get them to safety. And in her mind, she's just thinking, she's like, I'm sorry, Izuku. I'm sorry to have to do this to you. And then all of a sudden, they just see the force field encompass the area, and then Inko, or as the public calls her, Shield Maiden, the maiden that shields people. She walks into the force field, and they just see her pull it in into her body, and it basically there's just a shockwave, and creates a sizable crater in the ground. And it's being broadcast that Inko Midoriya, also known as Shield Maiden, has sacrificed her life to prevent a terrorist attack. And Mitsuki is seeing this whole thing happening on TV, and she's worrying about Katsuki trying to she's like, oh no, my son Izuku, and she's breaking down. At this point, there's a knock at the door, and she asks who it is. She's like, Officer Blakely. Then we have 2 children here that we were asked to bring to this location by Shield Maiden. And immediately Mitsuki runs to the door, opens it, and then just grabs both Izuku and Katsuki and just is crying, and she's just holding them. And both Izuku and Katsuki aren't sure what had happened. And Izuku, she takes him upstairs. She calls Mazura up, and Mazura comes home because he was going to be working late that night. And she puts the boys up in Katsuki's room, and they end up going to sleep. And Mitsuki's breaks down, and she's she's gone. That's why she's gone. And basically Inko had died doing hero work. And so So with Inko giving up her life for this, we skip to the next day, and it's still going on the news about a terrorist attack and how the hero Shield Maiden had passed. And Izuku, like all night, Izuku and Katsuki were just feeling off, like something was off. And it just like when Izuku saw this on the news, like he just broke, and his facial expressions kind of happened, like he started acting like this, like what you see, like kind of blank stare, kind of emotionless, not really talkative anymore, and just kind of like goes into himself. And this photo, you can see right here, Gabichi. Gabichi, I believe that's a G. That's a Gabychii. I believe that's how you spell it. I'm gonna try to get a link to this person's page or some kind of social media. So if you, I don't know if they do request yet or not, and you can get in contact with them, because like this person's artwork is really good. I've been seeing this tag like over several things. But that being said, Izuku finds out that not only did he just lose his dad a few years ago, but he just lost his dad, and he's thinking he's alone. And Mitsuki just grabs him, and then Katsuki comes running up to him, and Katsuki says, I won't ever leave you. I won't ever leave you, Izu. Like, I will still stay by you, Izu. And Mitsuki says, sweetie, you won't be alone. Like, you have us. Like, we're your family too. Like, it's going to be rough, but we'll get through this together. I'm sorry, Izuku. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to go through so much pain at a young age. I'm so sorry you have to go through all of this. But know that your mom, like, yeah, your mom is gone, but we're still here and we'll always be with you. And Izuku's just not crying. Like, he's kind of broken mentally. So we time skip a year, and what's happened in this past year is Izuku has gone through therapy, and he's just started talking about, like, he's worked through like his mom dying, and he's able to actually talk about it. He shows emotion sometimes, but he keeps more to himself. He doesn't really like talking to people, and things between him and Katsuki have been weird. It hasn't been the same. They both like have just felt weird, like something's missing from them. And Izuku and Katsuki are just sitting there, so like they're at school and everything, and Izuku is just quiet and everything, and then some boys start picking on Izuku, and Katsuki comes up and punches one of them in the nose, and then just grabs Izuku and starts running out the door. And Izuku and him go to like the park and everything, and then Izuku goes, Kachan, I didn't need your help. And Katsuki's like, you damn nerd, you damn jerk. You're not the only one that's been hurting. Mom's been hurting. I've been hurting. I lost my aunt, and I feel like I'm losing my friend. I feel like I'm losing my best friend. I didn't need your help, Katsuki. I could have handled it myself. Izuku, it's fine. You don't have to handle everything on your own. That's what really bothers me about you, you jerk. And at this point, Bakugo releases an explosion out of sheer mishap and hits Izuku, and Izuku just falls to the ground and he starts bleeding, and Katsuki just starts crying. He's like, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry, Izuku, I'm sorry. And Izuku just gets up and he's like, I'm fine. It's just been really rough, First my dad, then my mom. I'm scared the people that I'm close to are just gonna leave me one day. And things, I'll be all on my own again. And I've just been dealing with it, and it's just been weird. I don't know, the past year's been weird. I feel like I've been learning stuff faster. I've been getting stronger. I've been getting more durable. I don't know what's going on. And Kansuki goes, I know, my explosions are becoming more powerful. I'm, scared of losing control and causing harm to you or mom or dad. And so, Izuku and Katsuki spend, the entire night and, spend, most of the afternoon, and it's pretty late before they start getting home. And Izuku and Katsuki are, talking, and Deku goes, Kanchan, that's amazing, your quirk's gotten stronger. We need to become heroes like Mom. And Katsuki's like, definitely, Izu, definitely. I'm sorry about what happened at the park. I'm sorry for saying that. I'm sorry for, not seeing how much you're hurting and stuff like that. And, they just, embrace, and they're on the front porch after, he says this. And Mitzi comes running out the door. Where have you two been? You know how worried I've been. And Izuku and Katsuki are just, Izuku just starts laughing. And Mitsuki just, her face goes into shock because it's been over a year since Deku's even laughed or showed any strong emotion besides, complacency. So they do this, and so she's upset, and she tells them, you guys now have a curfew of 6 o'clock. You have to be home by then, no questions asked, unless you're at karate class. Unless you're at your martial arts class. And in that case, I'll be with you anyway. So just don't do this again. I can't lose you too, Izuku. After your mom, it's okay, Aunt Mitsuki. It's okay. I understand. That's why me and Kachan were late. We kind of got into a fight, and we had just been frustrated and upset with each other because we just didn't know how to talk with each other, and it just blew up today. And so we worked through it. And then Mitsuki goes, Izuku, that's pretty mature of you to say something like that. So they go into it. So now we'll time skip another year, and but like within this year, Bakugo and Izuku were looking up property and stuff like that, like places that they could train their quirks to like get control, so that Katsuki could get control over his quirk and not feel like he's going to like hurt someone. And they find a beach called Deku Beach. They find this beach. Well, let's not say Deku Beach. We'll say Deku Beach for like a later thing. They go to like a local beach, and that's trash. Like they had searched online and found this beach that had like trash and stuff on it, and this isn't Deku Beach. And so they start training, like moving the stuff and everything. And about a couple of weeks in, like locals start noticing that there's two kids that are here every weekend, like on the weekend every time, and they have been like cleaning up the beach, picking up trash, and and then this day, like a group had collected around, and they noticed that the two started using their quirks. So like they call police officers and everything, and Mitsuki gets called down to the police station, and like the cops like they were caught using their quirks in public, yada yada yada. It's their first offense. They're minors. We're going to let this thing go because they were using their quirks for public service, so we're just going to overlook this. And yes, so what were they doing? They were cleaning up the beach that's on the other side of town. And Mitsuya just starts laughing. Oh my god, this is crazy. And the cop's like, what? And it's like, well, the thing is that young boy with the green hair technically owns that beach. Well, I am the executor of it until he's 16, and then he takes full ownership. Because, like, do you know whose mother is that boy's? And they're like, no. And she was like, Shield Maiden. And they're like, wait, that's Shield Maiden's son? Because Inko was pretty well known in the neighborhood with their name, like doing stuff in the neighborhood, catching petty criminals and stuff like that. So she'd built up like a local fan base. So the cops were like, well, they still can't be using their quirks unsupervised. If they're going to be doing that, an adult has to be with them, even if it's on private property. So this is still within 4 months of the year from their 7-year to their 8-year. And this is going to be between when they're 8. So like we'll do a 2-year time skip. So they're like 8 to 9. So this is a couple months after they started doing. This happened a couple months after they started doing it. So Mitsuki explains to them that even though it's private property and we basically own it, you guys can't be using your quirks unsupervised, even though it's technically our property. But if you guys want to clean it up, you can. And if you want to if you want to use your quirks, either Mazura or me or a hero or a guardian has to be with you when you use your quirks, because it's still technically illegal. unless it's a life and death situation. So, and Izuku is like, fine, auntie, fine. Like, fine, we won't use our quirks, but that just gives us more incentive to clean it up. I also want to kind of put a statue of my mother there once we're done. And Mitsuki says, we'll do that. We'll definitely do that once we get the place cleaned up. And so they over the course of that year, they get 90% of the beach cleaned up, and they still are they get half the beach cleaned up because like the community has been coming, like adults have been coming, and like people stopped littering there, and adults are starting to like kind of help pick up the beach. And so it's not something everyone does all the time, but like one or two adults will come by every once in a while and kind of move some things and haul stuff away. And so they're 8 years old now. So over the course of this year, they start actually really going at it with their quirks, because Mazura had gotten some vacation time, and so had gotten a vacation, and so that he can spend time with Katsuki and Izuku during like the summer for like summer break. He got like 60 days of vacation. And Mazura does know some martial arts, so like they go to the beach every day during the summer, and they're just cleaning it up. And Mazura's helping Katsuki because Mazura does have somewhat of an explosion type quirk where he can ignite stuff, so he's basically helping Katsuki learn how to control his quirk a little bit more. The Izuku starts getting stronger and stronger, so he's 8.5 at this point, so he would have the strength of someone that was like in their late teens, early 20s, like an athletic, like a little bit stronger. Like he's stronger than what you would expect for his size. Like he's not super bulky, muscular. And because all the large pieces and stuff, like they can't really move themselves. So like, and after a month of doing this at the beach and everything, they're sitting there, and some people, like, they're starting to spar, and all of a sudden, like, a group of people start like crowding around, watching these two kids go at it, like sparring, because they're basically like creating like minor impacts. Like they're creating like not like super loud, but very audible like impacts with each other. And so people are like, oh, they're here, and like they started helping clean up the beach and everything. And unbeknownst to them, a particular hero has been watching them this whole summer, because he's like, whoa. And he's like, oh, these two young men really do seem like they could potentially one day be it. And so he every single time he's in town, he stops by this beach to see if the check on like these boys, because he doesn't know their name. He doesn't really look into it, because he just sees like people, like citizens, like doing citizen work, like, and it seems like they really want to do it. And so we jump to we do another year time skip. The beach is completely cleaned up, and it's another summer break, and so Izuku and Katsuki tell Mitsuki that they're going to the beach to train, and they'll ask a police officer to come and kind of like they'll ask if they can go, and she tells them, like, remember, no quirk use unless you're supervised by a pro or your guardians. You got that? Yes, ma'am, they both exclaim. And so they head out to the beach like that day, and they basically spend the entire day just doing light exercises and sparring and just talking. And over the past couple of years, Izuku's come out of his shell a little bit more, and Bakugo's gotten control over his quirk. He's not unleashing sparks and stuff when he gets angry like he normally does. And Izuku's like actually pretty, like he's got the strength of an athlete now. Like he has an athlete's body, but he has the strength of, like, say, a bodybuilder with an athlete, like with a lean athlete's body. So they're sitting there sparring and stuff, and towards the end, a group of people gather, and our favorite hero is actually watching these two, because, like, the beach has become known, has been named and has become known as Shield Maiden Beach, named after Inko's hero name. And then a courier comes up, and he's like, young man, would one of you happen to be Izuku Midoriya? I was told to deliver this here at a certain date. We were instructed to deliver this to this beach, like, on a certain day, and if nobody was here that was Izuku Midoriya, we were to take it to, like, this address. And Izuku goes, that would be me. And Izuku pulls out, like, his ID and everything and shows it, signs for the package, and it's a letter. He opens the letter, and it's a letter from his mom. And he's sitting there, and he just, a blank stare goes on his face. And one moment while I look for my notes on this. And okay, so I have it here. Apologize about that wait. Katsuki asks Izuku, what's up? And Izuku says, Katsuki, it's a letter from my mom. What? And he's like, no, it's just, it was to be delivered to us the summer after. It was to be delivered to me the summer after this beach was cleared up. If I don't quite, I, whew. It's okay, Yuzu, just take a deep breath and we'll read it together. It says here that it was supposed to be delivered to me in case my mom had passed and after the beach was cleared. And it reads, Izuku, if you're reading this, it means my worst fear came true. These past few months or years you've trained your quirks. This is the only gift I could think of to give you, my precious guardian. I hope you take the lessons you learned and become the hero you wanted to be when you were a young boy. I wish I could have been around to help train you, but unfortunately, life didn't turn out that way, and I hope this letter finds you in good health and that you still want to become a hero. Use these experiences that you have to become the hero that I know you can be. And at this point, Izuku starts crying. And Bakugo's kind of tearing up as well, and he's just sitting there, and Bakugo goes, I need to relieve some stress. What about you, man? And Deku goes, yeah, I do too. How about this? I know we're not supposed to, when we told Mom we weren't, but how about we spar, like, we release some frustration out to sea? What do you mean? And at this point, Katsuki stands up, faces the water, puts both of his hands together and just starts creating explosions in between and holding it and holding it and holding it and holding it and just compacting like the explosions and the force and everything. And then he eventually just releases it with both of his hands out to sea, and just these large explosion shockwaves just go in one direction. Over the years, Katsuki had been able to control his quirk to basically a pinpoint precision. And at this, Deku gets up and he's like, oh, you've been holding back in our sparring matches, haven't you? Yeah, I guess so. I didn't want to hurt you, you know? And Deku's being like, it's kind of funny. I was feeling the same way. What do you mean, Izu? And it's like, you're not the only one that's been hiding. Deku stands up. He breathes in. He breathes out. He breathes in. He breathes out. He breathes in and breathes out for the third time. On his fourth time doing this, on the release, he says, release, and then punches the water. And just a wind tunnel just goes out to sea. And Katsuki's like, oh my god, Izu, how strong are you? And Izuku's like, well, I technically ain't, I'm technically not that strong. It's just I'm able to like push my body beyond its limit for a brief second. Ow, ooh, that did hurt. I think I pulled a muscle, says Izuku, grabbing his bicep of the arm that he used. And he was like, yeah, like, are you gonna be okay? So, yeah, it'll be fine. Just give it a couple hours, it'll be healed. And at this point, they just hear a ho 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 I am here, young man. Using your quirks in public is against the law. But seeming how you two didn't really harm anyone, we don't really need to get the law involved in this, do we, young men? Both of them at the same time go, All Might! It's All Might! And like they're both like kind of geeking out. Izuku more so than Katsuki, and like they ask for his autograph, and All Might is like talking to them, like asking them, like, those are some pretty strong quirks that you have. What exactly is your quirks? Well, and Ezekiel's like, well, I, and then immediately Katsuki's go, well, I have a quirk called Explosion, but in the most recent years, it's gotten way stronger. Ever since, and Katsuki just quiets down, like just stops talking, and All Might goes, young man, what's wrong? And this is when Izuku finally speaks. He's like, well, our quirks have gotten stronger she since she passed. And then All Might kind of looks at the statue and he's like, whoa, isn't that... Wait, would you happen to be hurt? And Izuku nods. Yeah, like this is the second time I've kind of met you. I met you once before. I was young. I was a kid, like basically a baby at the time, and apparently my mom had like stopped a truck, and her quirk like got stronger or evolved or something, and so ever since that day, for some reason, our quirks have been getting stronger and stronger, and like we've been developing faster. Very interesting. Well, young man, I am gonna have to like tell your parents. And Izuku and Katsuki look at their wrists, at their watches, and they're like, "Oh crap, we're late." All Might's like, "Late for what? Curfew. We won't make it home in time. We'll be oh my god, Mom's gonna kill us," says Katsuki. And All Might's like, "No worries about that, young man. Where do you exactly live? Just gotta point out the direction, and I'll get you there. But I'm still gonna have to speak to them about you guys using your quirks in public, and because it really was kind of reckless. Even though no one got hurt and it didn't cause any damage, you still can't be doing that without a license." And I kinda have to talk with young Bakugo's mom about some stuff. Is on top of this. Wait, what? And then before they could even think or like everything, like All Might had grabbed them and like jumped. And a couple minutes later, Mitsuki's in the house and she hears a loud thump outside. And she comes running out. "I told you to, no quirk using." All Might. What are you doing here? We don't have a meeting until tomorrow. Whew, young Mitsuki. Well, I will be leaving this off at this part. This is part 0A, and part 0B I will work on and get out at some point within the week. As Thank you for coming and viewing this, and any criticisms, any critiques, they're more than welcome, but if you're mean-spirited about it, you will be blocked from commenting. Have a nice day and enjoy the new year.